Fulcrum Studio is a laboratory of design and constant quest, an eternal search into the beyond. The philosophy of the firm is to create designs that intoxicate, and not just the viewer, but in the studio, the atmosphere is that of constant movement inward into oneself to find spaces and moments that are yet to emerge. So the act of creation is extremely special. Clients know that we have a philosophy and that we interpret their sense of self, their traditions, their backgrounds, their place in the world in a language that they can trust. So apart from the requirement of the number of people and the basic lifestyle, the rest is a poetry that we write to not just create a beautiful design, but to create behavioral patterns and a way of life that they can't predict. This is on the 16th floor. So it's already positioned in a way that what we do is invite the views, which are from this area, very green, the city from here. But the most important aspect of this entire agenda was what happens overhead, in the sky. So the idea to slice open vignettes of the roof itself, because it was the highest floor, and that was the advantage of making you feel like as if at any given time you were in communion with the heavens. So this aspect of the 360 degree was an essential aspect of our intent, because we intended to bring in the lofty views, but we also wanted very much to bring in the sky, the rain, the clouds, and just the movement of shadow all through the day. These two were given ducts, air shafts that we had to work with. This is the more public aspect of the space, and visually, I think when you asked about requirement, the one thing that there was complete clarity on from the client is that the mandir had to be in the center of the home, which brought up a very interesting question, which is it no longer can be a puja room, so to speak, but it had to be a sculpture. So therein came upon the idea of creating a breathtaking visual right upon entry, a form that is rooted in the Indian context of spirituality, but renewed in a way that it felt contemporary and in the here and now. And that is the form of the lotus, which one perceives with adequate depth right from the entry. So the idea is to take your breath away when you look at that pristine white with an inner core of gold within which the murtis are kept. The other thing we did is then we completely sliced open the roof, made sure that the shadows came in a way that this pretty much becomes your sundial. All you need to do through the day is look at the shadows that are cast, and you don't need to keep track of time in any other form. So the other thing we did is strip the ceilings in two other spheres. We worked with this shaft to create lines of design in three exotic metals, which even moves up. So the sky, and the sky peeping through. Our furniture was placed in a completely different axis and a back-to-back, so that one seated here could look out at the dynamic view of the city and also enjoy the extent, the length, the expanse and the volume of the inner space. So the furniture arrangement was very atypical, reacting to the site context rather than being pushed against a wall and having multiples of 3 and 2 and 1. Each piece of furniture a different height, a different color, different shapes, so modules which allow interpretation, which allow you to be yourself and be someone else every single day. So you sit deeper, be longer, wider, and allow for that individuality of expression to be exhibited through your design. And here's where we have again an interesting aspect of an existing duct, the formal dining, and very Eastern, the Asian, Japanese and Indian style, where the clients are very comfortable to sit around this area. So the Asian nook as well as the Western nook wrapped in an L around this slice of design. Also what we then did, because everything was rectangular within the space, is we created these sweeping curves of stone and material, which allowed the eye, as soon as you enter, to realize that you're being swept into a wave and then you emerge at a whole different part of the home. So the connections with flooring, with the lines, and the constant contradiction of geometry between the organic and the very structured. The private spaces have this beautiful tunnel which takes you there, and there were many doors, a lot of services, and all of that with one magic wand was made to vanish because of the shadow and shade of this very white, pristine material. So only the user knows exactly which door to open, because otherwise it just feels like a concealed cave. And right at the end, these beautiful sculptures, boulders which appear like, they would not possibly, be able to stand on each other, kind of anti-gravity, but kind of a symbol of a family in unison. The master bedroom is a beautiful take on the 4-poster bed, except that this is an 8-poster, and it starts defining the axis of the bed, given that the client in this case is an extremely revered man of his community. The story plays out in a way that there's a great deal of white and mother of pearl, which gives this luminous iridescent quality, and then a stunning wrap of lapis, just a step higher and closer to the view, so that the viewer there just feels engulfed, encompassed and hugged by that luscious shade of blue, which I think juxtaposes the white beautifully. I believe that design has to be as free-flowing and as limitless as the mind, and as beautiful as the synergy between the mind and the body. So we do create spaces which are spiritual, in the sense that there is as much privacy as one requires. At the same time, there's that sense of boundless freedom and a sense of complete, I think, levitation. You feel alive, you feel energized, and you feel happy to be alive.